Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you can play a song by Keith Urban called Hit the Ground Running. And it starts with a really cool banjo lick that you can kind of simulate on the guitar by doing a hammer on the 2nd fret on the G string, and then playing 5th fret on the B string, and then 5th fret on the high E string. And I'm kind of doing that as kind of like a mini bar over the E and the B string. And I would really suggest trying this either fingerstyle or kind of hybrid picking. So I'm using my pick for my G string, middle finger for my B string, and then kind of the ring finger for the high E. So you got to kind of hammer on 5/5, hammer on 5/5, hammer on 5/5, hammer on 5/5. And then right after that banjo intro, actually, we kind of end up with two big power chords that kind of set us up. And the first one's something called G5. And the way we play G5, first finger goes to the low E on the 3rd fret, third finger goes to the A string on the 5th fret, and if you strum just the E and A strings, that sounds a G5 power chord, and it sounds really, really powerful. And then from the G5, we kind of take that shape and slide it down to 2nd fret on the low E and 4th fret on the A string for something called an F sharp 5. So it's kind of this big hit right before we kind of go into our intro, and it kind of becomes our chorus, where we go G, F sharp to kind of lead into it. And then we go to something called an A5, and actually I would suggest kind of doing this root position. It's kind of open A and then 2nd fret on the D string. So you're kind of playing just the A and D strings, and you kind of do that twice. So we kind of go A5, and then we go open E, and then 3rd fret on the low E. And then we're going to go from that A5 or the 3rd fret to a C5 power chord. And when we play C5, first finger is going to go to the A string on the 3rd fret, third finger on the D string on the 5th fret. And if we strum just the A and D strings with that, that's called C5. And when we hit that, it's kind of 2 downs on the C5. And then we go 3rd fret on the low E, and then open A, and then we go to a D5. And when we play D5, first finger is going to go to the A on the 5th fret, third finger on the D string on the 7th fret. And when we kind of play just that D5 twice, and then we go back to that open E again, and then 3rd fret on the low E, and then the A5 again. And then there's kind of a tag lick at the end where you play 3 on the A, open A, 3rd on the low E, and then open E, and then kind of start that over again. So you got your big push where you got the banjo intro, and then right after that we got our big power chord push, G5, F sharp 5, and then we got A5 twice, O3 C5, 3 O D5, O3 A5, 3 O3 O A5, O3 C5, 3 O D5, O3 A5 to kind of kick off the tune. Now all those power chords you could do is just regular chords actually, or what I'm kind of thinking root position chords. Another way to kind of back up that intro is just using root position chords, and you would start on an A major chord instead of the A5. And the way we play A major, first finger is going to go to the D string on the 2nd fret, second finger is going to go to the G string on the 2nd fret, and third finger is going to go to the B string on the 2nd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like an A major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And then instead of the C5, you could do a C major chord. And when you play C major, first finger goes to the B string on the 1st fret, second finger on the D on the 2nd fret, and third finger on the A string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all the strings with that, that sounds a C major chord. It sounds really, really happy. And then from the C major, we're going to be going to a D major chord instead of the D5. So the way you play D major, first finger is going to go to the G on the 2nd fret, second finger on the high E on the 2nd fret, and third finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum just the D, G, B, and E, kind of the skinny 4 strings, that sounds a D major chord. It sounds really happy. And then from the D major, we'd be going back to the A major. So another way to kind of work the intro would be kind of going A major, C major, D major, A major. But a lot of times with a song like this, to make it more interesting, I like adding something called a strum pattern. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So we took the A and just tried that a lot to get used to it. We'd have down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So we tried that through our intro part. We'd have A, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, up. And then when we get to our verse, actually, we could kind of keep that going, or if you like the power chords, you could even work those with the strumming. But on our verse, at the very, very end, right after we do that, the A, C, and the D and an A, then we go to the C and a D, And at the very end, there's this really cool hit on an E major chord. And when we play E major, first finger is going to go to the G string on the first fret, second finger goes to the A on the second fret, and third finger goes to the D string on the second fret. And at the very, very end of our verse, there's kind of this big push where you play E major with kind of 2 downs, and then kind of kill the strings with your right hand, and do that again, and then we just play an open E string. So we got E, 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 open E. It's kind of a push. And if you really like the sound of it, actually there's another E chord that you could use called E7 sharp 9. And I love this chord. It's kind of a Jimi Hendrix chord. But the way you play E7 sharp 9 is you do first finger on the D string on the 6th fret, second finger on the A string on the 7th, third finger on the G string on the 7th, the pinky on the B string on the 8th fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a nasty, nasty chord called E7 sharp 9. So if you wanted to, at the end of that chorus, you could kind of do the E7 sharp 9 for that down, down, kill it, down, down, kill it, and then open E, kind of for that hit at the end. But if we try our verse with our strum pattern, we have A, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, B, down, C, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, E, down, 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 E. And then we'd be going into our chorus part, which is very much like our intro. So we got our A, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down. Right at the end of the chorus, we do kind of a big down on an A chord and kind of kill the strings. And then there's this cool little lick that kind of comes in. It's the open E, and then third fret on low E, and then open A that kind of kicks us back off on kind of our intro part, which is kind of like our that same progression. So at the very end, you got A with a down, kill it, O, 3, O, A major, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, up. And then we'd be going into our next verse. Now, one interesting thing actually through a lot of this verse, actually there's just an A in the bass that kind of gets perpetuated. So if you wanted to, you could actually stay on the A. So this verse is kind of a variation, kind of working off the A bass actually. So we'd have A, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, C, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, and then E with the down, 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 E, low E, kind of push. And then from there we'd be going into our chorus again, kind of a double chorus, and we kind of got a different ending so on our second chorus. So we tried that with our strum pattern. We have A, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up, down, D, down, down, up. And then we kind of go into our bridge that on the chorus part at the very end of that where we got those D's on the chorus, where you could kind of throw in some different D majors. Kind of at the very, very end, there's this really cool subtle hit where if you take your D major chord and kind of add the pinky to it on the high E on the 3rd fret and still strum just the top 4 strings, that's something called a D sus. And another D variation actually is kind of if you lift off the pinky and the second finger, kind of just have just first finger, 3rd finger, that's called D sus 2. And at the very end of our last chorus where those D's are kind of getting repeated, there's this cool hit where you play D sus, D, and then D sus 2, and then D sus, D. So we got D sus, D, D sus 2, D, D sus, D. If you kind of want to throw that in at the very end on that D, and I'm just kind of hard. Now in the background on the bridge part, there's this really cool lick, and it actually kind of happens in that second verse too, where you can play open A and then second fret on the G string, and then open A, and then second fret on the G string twice. So you got O, 2, O, 2, 2, O, 2, O, 2, 2, O, 2, O, 2, 2. And there's also some other cool licks that kind of happen through that, where you play open A, and then through the bridge you got open B, and then first fret on the B, and then open B, and then second fret on the G string twice, and then open B one time, and then second fret on the G string, and more twos, and more twos. So you got O, O, 1, O, 2, 2, O, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. It kind of is in the background through that part. And then if we tried our strum pattern through our bridge part, we start on A major, and actually a lot of this you could really just stay on the A major, but on the third bar actually there's this cool move with the bass where it goes to a G major chord. And the way you play G major, first finger is going to go to the A string on the second fret, second finger is going to go to low E on the third fret, and the third finger goes to the high E on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like G major chord that sounds really, really happy. And so yeah, I'm going to kind of do that move, but you actually could just stay on the A through the whole bridge if you wanted to. So we try our bridge with our strum pattern. We got A, down, up, down, B, down, up, down, G, down, up, down, A, down, up, down, B, 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 down, up, down, and then we go to the E major with kind of that down, 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 low open E. We have our bridge part. And then we'd be going into our solo part. Now our solo, just the chords behind it, and we'll kind of talk about the licks. We could do that with our strum pattern too. So we got our A, down, up, down, C, down, up, down, D, down, up, down, B, down, up, down, A, down, up, down, C, down, up, down, D, down, up, down, E major, down, up, down, and then G, down, up, down, G, down, really cool lead guitar parts through that. And if we wanted to, we could kind of try a lot of those licks on the acoustic. So it kind of starts on 7 on the G, and then we play 9 on the G, and then we play 9 on the G some more, and then we play 9 on the G some more, and then we go to 7th fret on the G, and then 5 on the G, and then 7 on the D. So we got 7, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 7, 5, 7. I'm kind of doing that as a slide. That's 7, slide to 5, 7 on the D. And then from there, we're going to go to the A string 5th and do a hammer on the 7, and then 5 on the D, 7 on the A, 5 on the D, 7 on the D, and then 5 on the G, and then 7 on the D. So you got 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7. And then we almost kind of repeat that. Like we go 5, 7, hammer on the A, 5 on the D, 7 on the A, 5 on the D, 7 on the D, and then we just go to 5 on the G string at the end of that leg. Yeah. And then from there we'll be going 7th fret on the B string. It's kind of a bend, so I'm kind of pressing in and up in the guitar at the same time. And then we play 7 straight up, and then 5 on the B, and then 7 on the G, and then 5 on the G. So you got 7 bends, 7, 5, 7, 5. And then we're going to go 9th fret on the A string, and then 7 on the A, and then we go to 7 on the G string and kind of play 7 on the G. So we got 9, 7, 7 on the G. And at the very end of that, the solo, we kind of go 7 on the G, 8 on the B, and then 10 on the B. And we end up repeating that 8 times. So we go 1, 2, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times. And then we go to 12th fret on the B and kind of do a bend, and then play 12 straight up, and then 10 on the B, and then 12 on the B, and then back to 10 on the B. So we got 7, 8, 10. And then 12 bend, 12, 10, 12, 10. And then from there we kind of go into our last chorus part. And a lot of it's going to be our strumming, except for our very, very end. We kind of end on the D chord and kind of go just down, 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 down and kill it. So we got, and kind of killing it with the right hand at the very, very end of the last chorus. So try our last chorus with the strum pattern. You have A, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, B, down, up, down, B, down, up, down, B, down, up, down, C, down, up, down, B, down, up, down, B, down, up, down, B, down, down, C, down, up, down, B, down, up, down, B, down, So that's kind of your end part. Now one other thing I would think about adding though to the song is bass notes. And a lot of times on the first down of the down, down, up, up, down, you can throw in a bass note for the chord. So for instance on the A, you'd have the A string for your bass, and then you can keep your down, up, up, down. So A with an A bass, down, up, down, B with an A bass, down, up, down, B with an A bass, down, up, down. And on your C chord, you have the A string for your bass. So C with an A bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down. And then on your D, you'd have the D string for your bass. So D with the D bass, down, down, D with the D bass, down, down. And then on the E major chord, you have the low E string for your bass. So low E bass, down, down, E with the low E bass, down, down. And on the G chord, you have the low E string for your bass. Low E bass, down, down, G, low E bass, down, down. So we tried that through our intro that kind of becomes our chorus. We have A with an A bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, D with a D bass, down, down, A with an A bass, down, down, B with an A bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, D with a D bass, down, down, A with an A bass, down, down. And then we tried that through our verse. We'd have A with an A bass, down, down, A with an A bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, D with a D bass, down, down, D with a D bass, down, down, A with an A bass, down, down, A with an A bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, D with a D bass, down, down, D with a D bass, down, down, E major, down, 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 down. Got our bass down, up, down through our bridge part. Then we have A with an A bass, down, down, A with an A bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, A with an A bass, down, down, B 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 with an A bass, down, down, E. So that would be kind of cool to kind of try that through the bridge. And if we tried our bass notes through our solo, we'd have the A bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, D with a D bass, down, down, B with an A bass, down, down, A with an A bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, down, D with a D bass, down, down, E with a low E bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down. So you may want to think about kind of adding those to it too. But that's the basics of how you get strummed through Hit the Ground Running by Keith Urban. So good luck!